Chapter 21 Preparation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the blink of an eye, there is only one day left before the two small competitions. Google search reading. Thanks to the publicity of thoughtful people, the residents of Xuanhuan City also knew that the long-lost Qingshan Sect was going to have a friendship competition with the popular soul capture sect in the largest martial arts arena under the name of Xuanhuan City Commercial Bank. At that time, you only need to pay a small amount of money to enter the venue to watch the competition. At this time, Lin Zhixiao went to Qingshan to meet Li Qingyun. At least tens of thousands of people in Xuanhuan City will enter the martial arts arena to watch the competition. The soul-destroying sect deliberately promoted it this time. It seems that they are determined to win this small competition between the two sections. Lin Zhixiao said. Li Qingyun asked, "What do you want to say?" Lin Zhixiao laughed dryly and said, "Since everyone thinks that the soul capture sect will win, can't we take this opportunity to make a fortune?" "Go on." Li Qingyun said. "I mean, can we open a gambling game near the martial arts arena?" Lin Zhixiao and Li Qingyun looked at each other and smiled in unison. Li Qingyun said, "Just do it." "Yes." Lin Zhixiao responded. Lin Zhixiao continued to report, "Sect Master, the Lingya rice in the Lingtian is almost mature. It is estimated that it will be harvested in a few days. I would like to ask the Sect Master to come to the site in person." "Good." Feng Chuan hid the savings he had accumulated in the past few years in a secret room. "I have been searching for these days, but I have found nothing. I will ask the Sect Master to use his cultivation to find it when the time comes." "Good." Lin Zhixiao said. Then Zhixiao has nothing else to do, so Zhixiao will retire. "Wait a minute." Li Qingyun called to Lin Zhixiao. "I wonder what the Sect Master's orders are." Li Qingyun took out a white porcelain bottle from his arms. "I have worked hard for you recently. I have a bottle of qi nourishing pill here, which happens to be useful to you, so I will give it to you." Lin Zhixiao was overjoyed. "Thank you very much, Master." After seeing off Lin Zhixiao, Yang Hai Aoshue came out from one side and said, "Can you trust this person?" Li Qingyun said, "The people I choose are naturally trustworthy." "That's right," Yang Hai Aoshue said with a smile. "You, the leader of a sect who is so short of money, can even kidnap. What's the point of starting a bet?" Li Qingyun, I. Xuanhuan City, Taixinpu. This is the largest weapons shop in Xuanhuan City. Knives, guns, swords, halberds, axes, all kinds of weapons were hung on the huge wall. The man was shirtless, showing his strong muscles, and wiping the sweat on his forehead from time to time. "Call your master." A clear voice suddenly came from the door of the store. The man looked out and saw that this man was well proportioned and not as strong as the hunters who often went into the mountains to hunt, but he exuded an indescribable temperament. But what surprised him most was that this man was wearing a Taoist robe, but when he entered a room like a furnace, but not even a drop of sweat. This man is at least a foundation-building monk. "Wait a moment." The clerk turned around and shouted to the back room, "Old Huang, we have a guest." Come on, come on." An old man who was also shirtless ran out of the back room. When he saw Li Qingyun, his eyes lit up. "It turns out that sect leader Li is here." "Welcome," Li Qingyun said. "Do you recognize me?" "Ha ha ha." The old man surnamed Huang smiled heartily. That day, Sect Master Li showed great power in Kaiwanzhai, and the old man saw it with his own eyes. "Ha ha ha, that's it." The laughter was very contagious, and Li Qingyun also laughed. This old man was the shopkeeper of Jiexin weapon shop, and it was normal for him to attend the banquet of King Kaiwanzai Ruhai. "Zongzhu Li, please come in." The old man surnamed Huang stretched out his arm to let Li Qingyun inward. "There are some ordinary weapons used by ordinary hunters outside, Zongzong Li is mainly inside." Entering the back room, I found that there was something special. All kinds of weapons were no longer hanging on the wall, but were placed in huge boxes. Some of the boxes were open and most of them were closed, which looked quite mysterious. I wonder what kind of magic weapon Sect Master Li needs. Magical weapons are weapons that contain spiritual power. They are sharper and more powerful than the weapons used by ordinary people, but their prices are far higher than those of ordinary weapons. Li Qingyun said, I need an axe and a wooden stick. The old man surnamed Huang said, Zhong Li's main weapon is quite unique. But he is also very discerning. The old man surnamed Huang said, my store happens to have these two weapons. Oh, that the old man surnamed Huang shouted outside, Xiao Huang, go and bring a big box with red stuffing. Li Qingyun touched his nose. The Sichuan accent of the old man named Huang's family was quite interesting. After a while, a few guys outside moved a huge box over. Bang! The box hit the ground hard. Sect leader Li, this is the axe. The old man surnamed Huang said proudly, this is Huang's proud work. With the level of a first-grade weapon refiner, he has made this top-grade magical weapon. High-grade magic weapon. Exactly. The old man surnamed Huang said proudly, stroking his beard, the weapon box was estimated to be 2 meters long and taller than himself. Li Qingyun frowned and said, it's too big. Is there anything else? Gone. Li Qingyun. Sect Master Li, it is very rare to have one unpopular magic weapon like an axe in the store. Not to mention high-grade magic weapons, you can find another axe magic weapon even if you search all over Xuanhuan city, or even the entire Daiwadong mansion. Huang presented this axe with both hands. Li Qingyun's face twitched. It was obviously the axe that the old man had used to scare him. It was too big and covered with dust. Did he really think that this sect master couldn't see it? Li Qingyun reached out and touched the dust on the box, and showed it to the old man surnamed Huang. The old man surnamed Huang coughed awkwardly, Sect Master Li, the price is negotiable. This is the only top-grade magic weapon that Huang has made. I really don't want it to be covered in dust. The price is negotiable. Really? Then take a look at the wooden stick. The old man surnamed Huang walked to the corner of the wall and took out a shriveled, yellow stick. This is the only magic weapon in our store. Li Qingyun, you are really the largest weapon store in Xuanhuan city. There is no way, Sect Master Li, the magic weapon you want is too niche. If you want to use a sword, our store has more than 100 magic swords for you to choose from. The old man surnamed Huang said aggrievedly. Stop talking nonsense, how many spirit stones are these two? Li Qingyun said. How about 600 spirit stones for one top-grade magic weapon and one mid-grade magic weapon? The old man surnamed Huang said cautiously. Li Qingyun calculated that the sect's spiritual fields had not been harvested yet, Feng Chuan savings had not been found, and the gambling game had not won any money. Now he only had less than 800 spirit stones in his hand. Thinking of this, Li Qingyun opened his mouth to make a counteroffer, 200 spirit stones. Deal. The old man surnamed Huang sighed, I really can't do anything about you. You are so good at buying things. Who made me like you? 200 is 200, I give it to you. Li Qingyun. If you didn't know that the market price of these magic weapons was about 800 spirit stones for two, and these two magic weapons were genuine, looking at the performance of the old man Huang, he would definitely feel that he was cheated. This old man Huang gave him these two weapons at almost the cost price. Is he trying to make friends with him? Or is he really eager to give these two away? No matter, I made a profit anyway. After sending Li Qingyun away, old man Huang thought proudly, I can make friends with the leader of a 2-star sect by paying a few hundred spirit stones, and I can also deal with the stockpiled goods. In a few days, his disciples will compete, and the whole city will see the weapons I made. This deal is really a good deal. Chapter 22, Pill Inscriptions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A huge box and a shrunken and ugly stick. Google search reading, looking at the magic weapon that Li Qingyun bought. Yang Haoshua laughed and said, if you don't know, you might think that Master Li picked it up from the garbage dump. Li Qingyun snorted, these are two genuine magic weapons. Really? Master? Pinyin came forward excitedly. Yes. Yang Haoshua nodded, they are indeed genuine magic weapons, and the refining techniques are very sophisticated. They are considered to be the best among magic weapons. Humph, can this master's vision be bad? Just as the few people were talking, a whirring sound of wind suddenly came. Sun Liang had already picked up the stick and started using it. The stick turned back and forth between Sun Liang's hands. A yellow aura condensed around Sun Liang. Sun Liang danced for a while and made a few stick flowers. With a satisfied smile on his face, he said happily, "Thank you, master. I like this stick very much," Li Qingyun said, "as long as you like it." As he expected, Sun Liang's personality was like this. He didn't care about the beauty of the weapon, but only the effect of the weapon. Although the stick looked ugly, Li Qingyun thought that its power was not inferior to that of the top-grade magic weapon at that time. It was a fine stick-type magic weapon. Big brother is great. Ping An applauded loudly, and then looked at Li Qingyun pitifully. "Master, is Ping An's weapon this box? It seems a bit big." Li Qingyun said, "It seems a bit big, but this weapon is very handsome." A minute later, Li Qingyun and Yang Haoshua looked at Ping An, who looked like a child, dragging a huge axe taller than Li Qingyun, and looked at each other awkwardly. "Master, great elder, why do you have such expressions?" Ping An waved the giant axe. "I think this axe is much more useful than the axe for chopping wood. It can also be used as a shield." "It can also be used as a shield," Li Qingyun said. "Ping's weapon is not bad, and the boss's weapon is not bad either. You two should get used to the weapons today, because you will go into battle tomorrow." "Yes." Li Qingyun pulled Yang Haoshua out of the room and asked, "Have you bought the new clothes I asked you to buy for Sun Liang and Ping An?" "Yes, let them change into them tomorrow." Li Qingyun, Yang Haoshua, and two disciples were staying in and near the martial arts arena. Li Qingyun selected weapons for his disciples to enhance their strength. He asked Yang Haoshua, a woman, to go to the market to select clothes for the two disciples. After all, they had to face tens of thousands of people, and a good image could make a good publicity for Qingshan Sect. "It doesn't matter, we will definitely win." Yang Haoshua comforted softly. She had seen Li Qingyun running back and forth these days, and knew that this competition was extremely important to Li Qingyun. She had just come to Qingshan Sect not long ago. Although she felt that she did not have that kind of thought about the interesting man in front of her, she saw Li Qingyun change from his usual carefree attitude to his serious preparation at this time, and she knew how important this matter was to him. She couldn't bear to hit a serious and hard-working person. She felt that she seemed to have known this man, a man who could play different roles for the development of the sect, sometimes a strict master, sometimes a leader of a sect who used both kindness and power, sometimes a helpless little person who was polite and courteous to please others, and sometimes he was a child who was throwing tantrums and making trouble. But it seemed that she couldn't see this man clearly, because no matter what time, he seemed to have a strong enterprising spirit and a kind of arrogant self-confidence. System, is there any medicine recommendation that can be used during the competition? System, although this system is extremely powerful, it does not directly provide elixirs and weapons. Li Qingyun, oh. Sure enough, the system is not omnipotent. Being able to provide such a huge help to his cultivation has made Li Qingyun feel that it is too powerful. He now has several pills prepared for tomorrow's competition, with various effects, but the best quality pills in Xuanhuan city are only the first-grade human-level pills that have just been graded. Li Qingyun spent all his spirit stones to buy these pills. Wait. Human-level first-grade? The system said do not directly provide pills and weapons. Is it possible? Li Qingyun coughed twice, brewed his emotions, made a sad expression, and said in a tone full of bleak envy, "If my pill is a second-grade human level, it would be great." System. No response. Isn't it possible? Li Qingyun did not give up, sorted out his emotions, took out a pill from the pile of pills, and repeated again, "If my pill is a second-grade human-level pill, it would be great. If my pill. This operation will consume 5 talent points, do you want to continue?" Li Qingyun. Ha 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 ha, as expected. Keep going. This system is proficient in the inscription method and can engrave inscriptions on elixirs. One inscription can bring a small level upgrade to the elixir. The current system level is LV1, and can only apply 3 inscriptions. Do you want to continue? Keep going. Complete the elixir inscription. This time, the inscription is once for 6 elixirs and twice for 1 elixir, consuming a total of 45 genius points. Basic information of the host, cultivation value, 300, peak of the middle stage of foundation building, spiritual roots, 6 spiritual roots, foundation building, upper grade Dao foundation, Kung Fu, Qingyun Ju Huang Jia low grade. Genius points, 0-inch, tip, the current host's genius points have been exhausted, please replenish them quickly. Li Qingyun looked at the white lines on the pills in his hand. He knew the inscription technique. He once saw in a certain book that the inscription technique was mastered by those ancient and powerful sects. No, even they cannot be called sects because they are too huge. They are so huge that dozens of countries and the vast continent are under its jurisdiction and control. Those sects are called Taoism. Now, I have actually mastered the means that only super sects at the Taoist level can do. I must be careful. Anyone from those Taoist clans is not me, or even the entire Dihua mansion can be provoked. System, you just said the system level is LV1, how can you upgrade it to LV2? Li Qingyun asked. System, when the sect develops to a certain level, the system will accumulate enough energy to complete the upgrade. Oh, I guess that's still far away from me. Li Qingyun replied numbly. The thought of a behemoth at the Taoist level just now made him feel a little confused, but after a while, Li Qingyun regained his confidence and his fighting spirit reappeared. It turns out that there is such a huge sect in the world. It is interesting to become such a sect. Li Qingyun slowly turned the pill in his hand. Before that, let's win tomorrow's competition. Chapter 23. The competition begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xuanhuan City Business, as a branch of Tianji Pavilion in the East Palace of Dihua Prefecture, owns a martial arts arena that can accommodate 50,000 people. There is a huge projection array in the martial arts arena that can magnify the situation on the ring dozens of times and transmit it to the audience in real time. Xuanhuan City, as the central city of the East Palace, has about 500,000 to 600,000 residents. At this time, the martial arts arena was overcrowded, and 1/10 of the people in the city gathered in the martial arts arena. It can be seen how much the whole city valued the competition between Qingshan Sect and Qingshan Sect. This world worships cultivators. For a city with hundreds of thousands of residents, people with spiritual roots are not uncommon, just like the famous college students in the previous life. Everyone knows, is curious, yearns for, and worships. For most Xuanhuan city residents, Qingshan Sect and Qingshan Sect are all the information they know about the immortals in the world of cultivation. In their hearts, these immortal sects are mysterious and transcendent. Therefore, they will never easily miss this opportunity to truly see the immortal sections. Near the magnificent martial arts arena, in a normal-looking shop, Feng Yong stood at the door and greeted the passers-by. The competition between the two sects is about to begin. Do you want to come in and play? Is it the Qingshan Sect's counterattack or the Qingshan Sect's crush? Don't you want to try your luck? Our shop is guaranteed by the Tianji Pavilion. Integrity is the basis. If you miss this time, there will be no next time. Feng Yong's skill in attracting customers is very good. He is thick-skinned and sweet-mouthed. Soon, many people began to rush over after hearing the news and asked mysteriously, "Can it be guaranteed?" Feng Yong said, "Don't be nervous. Our family is a formal gambling fight. There is a senior guarantee. Don't be afraid." The customer went into the shop contentedly. "It's okay, don't be nervous." Li Qingyun looked at Pinyin in front of him, whose face was as tense as a mahjong, and comforted him with a suppressed smile. Pinyin stared with his eyes and tense face, and replied, "No, nervous." Okay, don't be nervous." Pinyin was the first to compete. His opponent was Zhang Yuan, the first-place winner of the Soul-Snatching Sect's Outer Sect competition last year and the current #1 Outer Sect disciple of the Soul-Snatching Sect, Xuanhuan was already 17 years old, and had reached the peak of the 9th level of Qi training. This level was the maximum level of the Soul-Snatching Sect's Outer Sect disciples, because after breaking through the 10th level of Qi training, one would have to enter the inner sect. This person should have suppressed his level for the Soul-Snatching Sect's Outer Sect competition. His true strength may have already reached the 10th level of Qi training, although Pinyin had the blessing of the Gathering Spirit Array, his talent is also very amazing, but after all, he has practiced for too short a time, and now he has only reached the peak of the 8th level of Qi training, so, Pinyin is very nervous at this time. Li Qingyun comforted Pinyin while looking outside. At this time, the host of the competition has appeared and is introducing the rules of the competition to the audience in a long-winded manner. A friendly competition between two sects, only to determine the superiority, not life and death. You can admit defeat at any time, and the one who hits or is knocked out of the ring is also considered a loser. Li Qingyun rubbed the thorny hair on Ping An's head. Did you hear it? Ping An nodded fiercely. Yes. Li Qingyun said. What do you mean? Repeat it. Ping An took a deep breath, puffed up his chest and said, Ping An will definitely not hurt him, and will give him a chance to admit defeat. Li Qingyun. It doesn't matter if he gets hurt. Ah. Okay. Pinyin didn't expect Li Qingyun to say that, and was obviously shocked. Please allow me to introduce the first contestant of the Soul-Snatching Sect, the first-place outer disciple, Xuanhuan. Bang! As soon as the voice fell, a loud noise suddenly sounded in the arena. The burly Xuanhuan fell directly from the sky and landed on the ring. A long crack appeared under his feet, and his appearance was domineering. The audience in the arena had never seen such a scene before, and they became even more excited, and a tide of shouts rang out. Xuanhuan smiled proudly, bowed slightly forward and said, I am Xuanhuan from the Soul-Snatching Sect, please give me more advice. Li Qingyun rolled his eyes. This guy is really good at pretending. The next one to appear is the young disciple of Qingshan Sect Master Li Qingyun, Pinyin. The atmosphere in the arena was high and in full swing, and there was another round of shouting. Go, it's your turn. Li Qingyun patted Pinyin. Okay. Seeing that the contestant was not showing up, the host continued, it is said that this Qingshan Sect master. Before the voice fell, crazy whistles and screams came from the arena. A small, delicate boy, who looked about 10 years old, walked onto the stage with a blushing face. However, such a cute, little boy was carrying a huge, nearly 2-meter-long axe on his back. The drastic contrast made the audience unable to accept it. Why did the Qingshan Sect let a baby on stage? Am I dazzled? Why did that child carry such a big axe? That's not an axe. It's even bigger than the blades of the windmill in the blacksmith shop. Accompanied by the noisy discussions of the audience, Ping An walked in front of Xuanhuan. Ping An's head was as high as Xuanhuan's belly, but the axe behind Ping An was 2 heads higher than Xuanhuan. The two were in opposition, but Ping An did not look up at Xuanhuan. Instead, he looked straight at Xuanhuan's belly seriously. Xuanhuan was speechless. The 7th elder asked him to come out and compete with Qingshan Sect, but Qingshan Sect only sent such a child. This child was confused and didn't even know that he had to greet his opponent before the competition and observe his opponent. The host coughed dryly. Our Qingshan Sect's contestants have a unique way of appearing. Now both contestants are ready. Let's start without further ado. As soon as the host finished speaking, Xuanhuan quickly stepped back and distanced himself from Pinyin. He didn't know Pinyin at all, but now he had a weapon on him and he didn't. He was obviously at a disadvantage at close range. It would be too rash to attack directly. He had to observe his opponent before making any plans, but at this time, Pinyin didn't even look at him. He stared at the ground under his feet and slowly swayed on the ring. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, and he pulled out a huge axe from behind and swung it hard. Xuanhuan shouted that it was not good, and suddenly dodged backwards, but found that Pinyin did not attack him, but swung an axe on the ring. Behind the ring, Li Qingyun covered his face helplessly, and Yang Hai Aoshue was also embarrassed. 2 days ago, Yang Haoshue had said this to Li Qingyun. What do you know? This is called sword intercepting technique, which specializes in the accuracy of strength. It is practiced hard every day. It seems to be just a simple chopping technique. In fact, every time you attack, you have to find the weak part of the whole wood, and develop a fighting consciousness of attacking the enemy's weakest part. Now Pinyin chopped the ground with an axe, and the mark of the axe was exactly the weakest part of the ring, and it was also the center of the ring. Li Qingyun said to Yang Haoxue teasingly, "It's quite evenly split." "You're still making sarcastic remarks." Yang Haoxue's face flushed red after hearing what Li Qingyun said. She was so angry that she stretched out her hand to hit Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun stretched out his hand to grab Yang Haoxue's jade hand, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he said in a sharp voice, "No." Chapter 24 Big Difference in Style. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The audience in the audience were also laughing at this confused child because the Qingshan Sect took pictures to pretend to be pitiful, as if he didn't wake up, he actually broke into the ring. But the next moment, the eyes of the entire audience almost popped out. I saw that the originally smooth crack under the giant axe expanded rapidly, rushing straight to the end of the ring, splitting the entire ring into a bottomless crack, and that's not all, because the ring was built suspended from a high place, so this crack directly cut the ring, causing that half of the ring to fall directly from the suspension. Crack, that a loud bang. Half of the arena is missing. There was a deathly silence in the whole place, because Xuanhuan was also on the missing half of the ring. Seeing that everyone was silent, Pingon scratched his head in embarrassment and asked the host, did I win? The host said blankly, "Probably, right." The whole place exploded, making the sound of mountains and tsunamis. "Victor, peace. 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 Peace." Facing the enthusiastic cheers of the crowd, Pinyin seemed to be shy and embarrassed, and hurriedly slipped away from the stage. Sun Liang happily rushed to greet him from the backstage. "Pinyin. You are so awesome." But Pinyin whispered, "Shu senior brother, don't talk." He looked around and asked nervously, "Brother, I smashed their arena, they won't let me pay for it, right?" Probably not." "The first Aoima Sokatsu," Lin Jishio shouted, "one pays 20, and the banker takes it all." "Ah! How is that possible?" Someone in the crowd couldn't accept it. A big man with a beard said, "The information you have here clearly states that Pinyin from the Qingshan Sect is at the 8th level of Qi training, and Zhang Yuan from the Soul-Taking Sect is at the 9th level of Qi training. How come Pinyin has one now?" Lin Jixiao said disdainfully, "If whoever has the higher cultivation level wins, then there is no need for the Qingshan Sect and the Soul Capture Sect to compete. Wouldn't it be better to just compete directly? Gentlemen, I am willing to admit defeat in the bet and seek wealth and honor in the midst of danger. Since you all seek stability and all of them are suppressing the victory of the Soul Capture Sect, then you have to bear the risk of the Soul Capture Sect not being victorious. Everyone, the dealer takes all in this game, so I accept it. I'm not convinced. Let's do it again. Come again, come again." With a gambler's mentality, he was naturally unwilling to stop just now, and Lin Jixia was happy to do so. Then he said, "Okay, then everyone, please take a look at the information from the two sides in the second competition. Zhang Pingtian, the Soul-Catching Sect, ranked second in the inner sect competition of the Soul-Catching Sect. He has practiced Qi at the 12th level of Dzogchen and has stayed for a year to prepare for the 9 Palaces Dao trial. Qingshan Sect, Sun Liang, Li Qingyun's great disciple, 12th level of Qi training." Everyone saw that the introductions between the two were as different as the previous one, and they couldn't help but look at each other again. Suddenly, someone said, "You bastard. I don't believe that the Qingshan Sect can come back this time. I can still suppress the soul-destroying sect. Yes, I'm with the Soul Capture Sect too. I don't believe in this evil anymore. Can't you see the situation is so clear? The Soul Capture Sect must have won this one." After Zhang Yuan's failure, Li Qingyun had been observing the old man sitting in the VIP seat of the audience. This man was the 7th elder of the Soul Capture Sect. The 7th elder, Li Qingyun discovered that after Xuanhuan's defeat, the seventh elder was only slightly surprised, but then returned to normal, while Yi Xiaoyu beside him showed a relaxed expression. At this time, the second scene was approaching, but the seventh elder whispered to a child beside him, and the child quickly ran to the backstage where Zhang Pingtian was preparing. It should be to tell Zhang Pingtian something, Dong Hai Aoshue said with a solemn expression. This old man wants Zhang Pingtian to cripple Sun Liang and regain his position for the soul-destroying sect. What? I can hear the old man's voice. Really? Li Qingyun whispered, then this old man really deserves to die. At this time, Yi Xiaoyu also looked at Li Qingyun and gave Li Qingyun a worried look. Li Qingyun nodded, indicating that he already knew. That girl is your little lover. Yang Hai Aoshue obviously noticed the eye contact between Li Qingyun and Yi Xiaoyu. Do you care? Li Qingyun rolled his eyes at Yang Hai Aoshue. How do I? Call the boss over quickly and give him a few instructions. Li Qingyun interrupted Yang Hai Aoshue and said. Humph. Yang Hai Aoshue snorted and went to call Sun Liang. Li Qingyun muttered in his heart, you woman, why are you humming? After a while, Sun Liang was led over by Yang Hai Aoshue. Li Qingyun grabbed Sun Liang's other arm, leaned over and whispered, the soul-destroying sect wants to cripple you, what should I do? Sun Liang said solemnly, I will never let them succeed. Li Qingyun. This is not my request. My request is that since the other party is already unkind, then we cannot be too merciful. I want you to beat him as badly as possible. It doesn't matter whether he is crippled or not. Sun Liang said honestly, what if I can't beat him? Li Qingyun said, you're stupid. If you can't beat me, surrender. I'll go up to rescue you. But don't be so stupid that you don't surrender. You'll really be maimed. Sun Liang nodded heavily, yes, master, I will definitely work hard. Okay. Li Qingyun took out a few pills from his body and stuffed them into Sun Liang's hand. There are pills for restoring spiritual energy and pills for healing. If you are injured, remember to take the medicine and surrender immediately. Sun Liang took the pills, yes, master. Li Qingyun knew that Sun Liang was different from Ping and was talented and liked to play some adventurous tricks. Sun Liang was less talented, but extremely cautious and down-to-earth. So although he was worried about Sun Liang, he did at this time. The host also called Sun Liang to the stage. The first person to fight this time is the eldest disciple of Qingshan Sect Master Li Qingyun, Sun Liang. Sun Liang seemed not to be used to the new clothes he had just bought yesterday. He went on stage with the ugly stick magic weapon. The audience was very respectful. Although Sun Liang's appearance was not domineering, not so attractive, and even looked a little awkward, they still gave Sun Liang some applause. And the one who came out from the soul-snatching sect is the second-place winner of the soul-snatching sect's inter-sect competition, Zhang Pingtian. Compared to Sun Liang's awkwardness in wearing new clothes, Zhang Tianping had a natural and elegant aura when he came out. He wore a Confucian robe and looked like a modest gentleman. The host was obviously fed up with the audience's enthusiastic screams. Without giving the audience time to cheer, he said directly, let's start the second competition. As soon as the voice fell, Sun Liang took out the wooden stick, set up the most stringent defense frame, and looked at Zhang Pingtian vigilantly. Zhang Pingtian raised his eyebrows and thought, Sun Liang and Ping are both disciples of Li Qingyun, why are their styles so different? But as soon as the thought came up, Sun Liang jumped up and hit the ring with a stick. Oh my God! Just now you said it was different. Here it comes again. Chapter 27, Extreme Luo Jingsheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ring was full of potholes, and the area had shrunk by more than half, and it was unrecognizable. Li Qingyun stood on the ring, staring at Luo Jingsheng. Luo Jingsheng was wearing a brocade robe and a tight black belt around his waist, which made him look very powerful. He had an ordinary face, but there was a ruthless look in his eyes, and he looked like a man who had experienced many battles. Luo Jingsheng said, Seventh Elder was sure that you would accept the challenge, but I didn't expect you to be so disappointing and really fell for his trick.
Originally, Yi Xiaoyu used 2,000 spirit stones to ask me to lose to your Qingshan Sect, and I accepted it. Now that the 7th elder is so concerned, it seems that I can't let him go. Li Qingyun said, "Don't let him go, fight me with all your strength." The 7th elder watched the two confront each other, and the corner of his mouth curled up with a smile. This Li Qingyun was too young, and the provocation method could succeed on him every time. He was impulsive and blind, and it seemed that this person was not to be feared. The audience was also very excited. It was rare for cultivators to be allowed to watch the competition, and there was an emergency today. The leader of a sect came out to compete. This kind of thing can be boasted for decades. The host saw that the two had no intention of starting, and did not dare to urge them. After all, these two were foundation-building cultivators, and there was also a leader of a sect. He was not someone he could provoke, so he sneaked away from one side. Luo Jingsheng said, "Actually, I don't have any bad feelings towards you. We are both people with insufficient qualifications. I am also a low-grade foundation. But compared to you, I am smarter, so I am now at the peak of foundation building, and you are still in the middle of foundation building." Li Qingyun sneered and teased, "You are still better than me, so ashamed. I hate your face. You know you are rubbish, but you still don't repent, and you have an indifferent attitude all day long." Hearing Li Qingyun's teasing, Luo Jingsheng's originally calm face suddenly became distorted, and he looked at Li Qingyun with a hateful look. "Oh. Didn't you originally mean to express that you are stronger than me?" Li Qingyun said. "I am stronger than you. I am reminding you that if you are weak, you should know yourself and work hard to become stronger." Luo Jingsheng said impatiently. Li Qingyun smiled and said, "You don't need to tell me who is stronger and who is weaker, and you don't need to teach me how to live. You said you were kind enough to teach me, but aren't you just looking for a sense of superiority? A rotten tree cannot be carved. You are hopeless." Luo Jingsheng seemed to have been greatly wronged, felt extremely disappointed, and said angrily. Li Qingyun was speechless. "A rotten tree cannot be carved? Who asked you to carve me? How dare you be so shameless? You come up and teach me how to be a man." He shook his head, not wanting to say anything more to this self-satisfied person, so he said, "There's no point in talking more, let's do it." Luo Jingsheng looked at Li Qingyun with disappointment again, and said, "It's good to know that you are in the wrong. I hope you can learn from me and realize the gap between you and me in the next battle." Li Qingyun kicked over, right at Luo Jingsheng's head. Luo Jingsheng exclaimed, squatted down, and dodged Li Qingyun's attack, but Li Qingyun's attack came again. "Good fighting style." Luo Jingsheng shouted, and quickly distanced himself from Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun was speechless. Even at this time, he didn't forget to pretend to praise him. This person's pretense is really in his bones. Thinking of this, he rushed up again. The audience under the ring were also dumbfounded at this time. They originally saw the two chatting enthusiastically from the projection array, but the leader of Qingshan Sect suddenly attacked and kept taking the initiative afterwards, making Luo Jingsheng flustered. TSK, he's just the leader of a sect, why is he so ugly? A sneak attack. What kind of hero is he? It's okay, this is a competition, being able to attack first is also a skill. Huh. How come he attacked first, but still fell into a disadvantage? What? That everyone looked at the stage and saw Luo Jingsheng suddenly burst out, with a strong black spiritual power surging from his body, almost suppressing Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun was beaten and could only defend with all his strength, and he couldn't attack once. Obviously, he was at a disadvantage. I didn't expect the quality of your spiritual power to be so good. Luo Jingsheng laughed strangely. It can be compared with the spiritual power of the upper-grade Dao base. Is this the effect of your practice of the entry-level skills? Luo Jingsheng kept saying sarcastic words in a weird voice, and accompanied his words with crazy attacks. But what's the use? Even if you practice better than me, but your realm is not as good as mine, won't you still be suppressed by me? Li Qingyun resisted Luo Jingsheng's attack with all his strength without saying a word. Luo Jingsheng's foundation building peak cultivation was 2 small realms higher than his, but he was not at a big disadvantage in the battle of spiritual power with him. All this was because he was now a high-grade Dao foundation, and the quality of the Dao foundation was 2 grades higher than Luo Jingsheng. I didn't expect that there would be a day when I could bully others by relying on the Dao foundation grade. Thinking of this, Li Qingyun couldn't help but smile self-deprecatingly on his face. "You're still laughing." Luo Jingsheng, who was in a frenzy, saw Li Qingyun smile. He was extremely sensitive and had a fragile self-esteem, so he was extremely angry. Deep down, he thought that this was Li Qingyun's smile of contempt for him, and he couldn't help but jump up and curse. "What are you laughing at? How dare you laugh when you are such a rubbish? Then I'll show you some color." Luo Jingsheng's black spiritual energy gathered suddenly, turning into a black long sword, and slashed at Li Qingyun fiercely. Li Qingyun, who was still resisting at first, saw the black sword, his expression changed drastically, and he quickly dodged to one side, but in the end he was hit by the aftermath of the spiritual power and fell to the side. Spiritual transformation. Spiritual power transformation is a higher realm of spiritual power control than external spiritual power. It can transform spiritual power into various artifacts, making the power of spiritual power even greater and greatly increasing the power of spiritual power. Luo Jingsheng smiled proudly. "It's not about the transformation of spiritual power. It's a martial skill that I learned personally. It's called Black Soul Knife. It's a martial skill that all the elders of the Soul Captor sect can learn and can release spiritual power to the outside world. The spiritual power is gathered and transformed into a sword, which is greatly increased in power." Li Qingyun praised, "It's really amazing." He quickly adjusted his breath. The aftermath just now caused him to suffer a lot of fluctuations. Now, while Luo Jingsheng was giving him some knowledge, he could adjust a bit. "I didn't expect that your spiritual power would be exhausted so quickly." Sure enough, the total amount of spiritual power in the middle stage of foundation building for low-grade Daoji is too little. You have even less spiritual power than I did back then. So, I am indeed stronger than you. Some. Just because I beat you like this, you should know the gap between you and me. To be honest, my true strength has not yet been revealed. Li Qingyun can't stand this person anymore. The words he says with a serious face always make him dizzy. Chapter 28, Heavenly Sounds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Every word he spoke revealed a secret sense of superiority. He kept emphasizing the achievements he had made through business despite his poor qualifications. The most hateful thing was that he had to bring Li Qingyun along and compare him with Li Qingyun. It was simply annoying. Someone died. Google search reading. Actually. Li Qingyun said slowly. Luo Jingsheng said, "What?" Li Qingyun burst into flames, and his cultivation suddenly exploded. "Do I still have a lot of spiritual power?" Luo Jingsheng's face was incredibly distorted again and became extremely vicious. "How can you still have spiritual power? Do you, this piece of trash, have stronger spiritual power than I did back then?" The two fought again, and finally, Luo Jingsheng launched the Black Soul Knife again to suppress Li Qingyun and force him to retreat to one side. "Have you exhausted your spiritual energy? Although your spiritual energy is stronger than mine back then, your strength is limited. In terms of combat skills, there is still a gap between you and me at that time. Although it took some effort, do you understand the gap between you and me now? You won't be able to fight anymore before I show my true strength." Seeing this scene, the seventh elder in the audience showed a satisfied smile and said something satisfied to the child next to him. Yi Xiaoyu clenched his fist tightly. Yang Hai Aoshue also looked at Li Qingyun worriedly. She did not stop Li Qingyun when he came to the stage. Now seeing Li Qingyun fighting desperately, she felt a sense of guilt in her heart, but at this time, Li Qingyun suddenly woke up. He already understood that this Luo Jingsheng was moody. He kept emphasizing his superiority and trying to say how powerful he was,
but he was actually covering up his sensitive and inferior heart. Once he gains an advantage, he will say the same words as just now, as if to comfort others, but in fact it is for self-esteem. Once he fails to achieve his goal, cannot crush the opponent, and gains a disadvantage, he will jump and curse. The purpose of the seven elders sending such a person to confront him was actually to let Luo Jingsheng, a person who enjoys hitting others for fun, kill him and suppress him severely, preferably to cast a shadow on his psychology. This is his characteristic, but it is also his fatal weakness. At this thought, Li Qingyun burst out again and jumped up. I still have a lot of spiritual power. As expected. Luo Jingsheng's face twisted into a twist again. You piece of trash, your spiritual power base is so much higher than mine back then. Yes. Li Qingyun began to stimulate Luo Jingsheng. Ah! Luo Jingsheng let out a cry of collapse. You still dare to be proud, let me teach you a lesson. That with this shout, Luo Jingsheng's eyes suddenly turned blood red, and the black spiritual power around him gradually glowed with dark red light. The aura on his body increased steadily, and finally he broke through the peak level of foundation building and reached the great perfection of foundation building. Even went one step further and touched the edge of the golden elixir. With one punch, Li Qingyun had nowhere to hide and was severely planted on the ring. Do you know how powerful I am now? Luo Jingsheng, who was going crazy, asked in a hissing voice. Li Qingyun got up, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said, You are a person who is wasting time with me after using forbidden magic. You are really hopeless. Having said this, he took out a pill from his arms and threw it into his mouth, a first-grade human-level jade blood elixir. The two inscriptions are comparable to the third-grade human-level blue blood pill. After taking it, it can forcibly raise 2 small realms and last for half an hour. As the elixir rushed down his throat, Li Qingyun felt the spiritual power all over his body surge wildly, and the 9 bridges of heaven and earth in his body roared, indicating that they had entered the ultimate operating state at this time. The aura climbed to the late stage of foundation building, and then reached the peak of foundation building. Unprecedented power filled his body. Li Qingyun looked at the dumbfounded Luo Jingsheng and stimulated him again. Do you know why I have so much spiritual power? It's not because I have top-level skills, but because I am now a top-level Taoist priest. Luo Jingsheng's lips trembled and he asked tremblingly, What did you say? That with a faint smile on his face, Li Qingyun repeated, I said, I am a top-grade Taoist priest, much more powerful than you were at that time. What? I don't believe it. Luo Jingsheng was hysterical again and rushed towards Li Qingyun. Why do you do that? Now the gap between Li Qingyun and Luo Jingsheng in terms of cultivation has narrowed, and he has surpassed Luo Jingsheng in other conditions, so he is no longer afraid of him. In addition, Luo Jingsheng has been stimulated by him, and his attacks are so intense that his tricks are weak and full of flaws. Li Qingyun grabbed Luo Jingsheng's arm and slammed it on the ground, making a big hole in the ring. He tried to swing it backwards again. In the emergency, Luo Jingsheng exerted force on his legs and barely escaped from Li Qingyun's attack. How is it possible? Why did you suddenly become so strong? How did the blue blood pill increase your cultivation level so much? Luo Jingsheng asked in disbelief. Li Qingyun didn't reply, and attacked Luo Jingsheng again, punching Luo Jingsheng in the face. Luo Jingsheng dodged it, but the next moment he grabbed his shoulder, pulled him again, and said, Because of this green blood, the elixir is a third-grade green blood elixir, which is of a relatively high grade. Luo Jingsheng was knocked down by Li Qingyun again in disbelief, and after falling to the ground, he started talking nonsense. When Li Qingyun saw him like this, he obviously had a mental breakdown and had a mental problem, so he stopped taking action and looked around for the host. This person was already like this, so he should announce that he had one. Wake up soon. Show your true strength. The 7th elder stood up and shouted loudly, and a cool spiritual energy flew into Luo Jingsheng's eyebrows. Li Qingyun watched the 7th elder take action. Although he asked Luo Jingsheng to stand up and continue, he was saving people after all, so he couldn't say anything, but at this moment, he didn't expect Luo Jingsheng to open his eyes the moment the green spiritual energy entered his forehead, and suddenly jumped up.
his eyes were full of bloodshot, and his voice was not like a human voice. I will kill you, a second-generation rubbish. Li Qingyun only felt a strange spiritual power coming from Luo Jingsheng's eyes, and then a black and red light curtain suddenly enveloped Li Qingyun. I can't see anything. It turned out to be an illusion. Li Qingyun quickly mobilized his body protection spiritual power, but he knew that if he couldn't sense Luo Jingsheng's position and focus on defense, he would definitely not be able to withstand his attack. It was impossible to judge Luo Jingsheng's position only by hearing. Unexpectedly, he was tricked by him at the last moment. Ha ha ha, it's no use for me to talk now. Even if you are lucky enough to have a chance encounter and have a high-grade foundation, what's the use? There are geniuses everywhere in the world. What's more, you can't even deal with me, let alone others. Li Qingyun wanted to rely on Luo Jingsheng's voice to determine the direction, but at this time Luo Jingsheng's voice was actually coming from all directions, and it was impossible to determine his location at all. Desperate situation. You, the second-generation ancestor who doesn't work hard and degenerates, die. Killing intent surged from all directions, and the endless darkness and death threat made Li Qingyun roar unwillingly. At this moment, a clear and pleasant voice came, Brother Qingyun, attack Tianyuan with all your strength. This voice, in the ears of desperate Li Qingyun, is simply the savior of the world, the sound of nature. It's Xiaoyu's voice. She is helping me. No time to think, listen to Xiaoyu. Qingshan, with a roar that shocked people's hearts, Li Qingyun used up all his spiritual power and launched the secret method Qingshan. Direction, Tianyuan position. Chapter 29, Treatment of Genius. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With Luo Jingsheng's scream, Li Qingyun's world returned to clarity and brightness. He looked at Yi Xiaoyu, who stood up in the audience, and his cultivation level exploded, detecting Luo Jingsheng. At this time, his face was slightly red, and he wore a bright and beautiful smile. This smile touched Li Qingyun's heartstrings and made him feel a little excited. Trembling, thrilling, the seventh elder sitting on one side looked in disbelief at Yi Xiaoyu, who suddenly rebelled and gave Li Qingyun a hint. The treasured disciple of the soul-calling sect, turned against the enemy and helped the leader of the Qingshan Sect to win, and seemed to have an obvious affection for him. The seventh elder could not accept it. Li Qingyun walked towards Luo Jingsheng. Luo Jingsheng had recovered from his hysterical state and asked miserably, "Am I wrong to work so hard because of my poor talent?" Li Qingyun said, "There is nothing wrong with hard work, and there is nothing wrong with poor talent, but you should not use these as capital to educate others, because these are originally just our shortcomings. It is not glorious." Luo Jingsheng smiled bitterly and said, "I lost, you must look down on me." Li Qingyun said, "People with poor talents like us should be humble. I will not look down on you, nor will I teach you how to behave." After saying this, Li Qingyun stood up and faced the entire audience. The entire audience stood and cheered, "Qingshan Sect! Qingshan Sect! Qingshan Sect! Qingshan Sect! Qingshan Sect! Win! Win! Win!" They were obviously deeply impressed by the exciting fighting style and the endless reversals in the last game. Li Qingyun stood proudly in the center of the arena and declared to the entire martial arts arena, "Qingshan Sect, victory! Li Qingyun! Li Qingyun! Big victory! Big victory! Big victory!" Yang Hai Aoshue stood not far behind Li Qingyun. In this position, he could come to the rescue at any time. He was wearing a red skirt. Because he was too fast in the emergency just now, the red skirt was a little messy at the thigh slit, and there were a few pieces hanging on his forehead. Sweating, seeing Li Qingyun winning, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and slowly retreated backstage. Li Qingyun wins. In the gambling game started by Lin Jixiao, there was a cheer at this time. The bearded man who was still crying just now laughed wildly. "Ha ha ha, I knew it would be Aoima Sokatsu this time. I won the money back again, ha ha ha." As expected, the Qingshan Sect's strength is really different, and they were almost tricked by the dealer again, Winning beautifully, Seeing the joy in the gambling game, Lin Jixiao also laughed excitedly. Originally, he was still worried about the sect master when the game was temporarily changed, but now it seems that the sect master is indeed unusual. Ha ha ha, look, the banker is still smiling so happily after losing money. Isn't he stupid? Dealer, did you lose a lot this time? Lin Jixiao smiled and said, yes, we lost miserably, almost 1,000 spiritual stones. Wow, you're still laughing after losing so much. You're not really stupid, are you? The bearded man walked to Lin Jixiao's side and comforted him, dealer, I won a lot, why don't I give you some? Don't take it too seriously, being angry can hurt your health. Lin Jixiao couldn't be serious even if he wanted to be serious at this time, and could no longer hide his smile, saying, you guys don't have to pity me, the gambling game pays attention to integrity, and I will never give you a penny less. He knew in his heart that although he lost some spiritual stones in the last game, he won the hearts of a large number of people. The seventh elder said a few words and left with everyone from the soul-calling sect. In 3 days, I will go to the east of the city to take over the spiritual pagoda and say goodbye. Sect Master Li, that he originally wanted tens of thousands of people in the audience to witness Li Qingyun's humiliation, but instead they witnessed him losing a spiritual pagoda. Everyone felt quite happy when they saw the seventh elder leaving the scene quickly. The more majestic the elder was before, the more bleak he looked now. After enjoying the applause and flowers, Li Qingyun also said goodbye to the audience. He turned around and saw Yang Hai Aoshua standing backstage. He also thought about Yi Xiaoyu who had spoken to remind him, and felt quite complicated. With a whoosh of peace, he ran over as fast as he could and hugged Li Qingyun's thigh. Master is so powerful. Li Qingyun tied up his hands and looked at Pingyun, who was holding him in all directions, and said helplessly, Pingyun, why are so many people looking at you? Pingyun raised his head from the side of Li Qingyun's body and saw tens of thousands of people in the audience laughing and looking at him. His face flushed and turned red. He yelled shyly and ran backstage. Yang Hai Aoshua said, the people from the Soul Capture Sect have just sent over 6,000 spirit stones. 6,000 spirit stones have won another spiritual pagoda. Congratulations, Lord Sect Master, you have won a great victory. Although I had received applause and flowers throughout the process, I was still very proud when I heard the praise from Yang Hai Aoshua, a beautiful woman. Where is it? Humph. Another snort. Yang Hai Aoshua said, what are you proud of? Didn't you win because a woman saved you? Ahem, I'm not, I didn't. Li Qingyun touched his nose awkwardly, don't talk nonsense. Compared with the dejected look of everyone in the Qingshan Sect, the seventh elder and his group looked extremely dull while walking on the road. You guys disappoint me so much. The seventh elder sat in his flying magic weapon and looked at the disciples nestled on one side. He glared at Xuanhuan, Zhang Pingtian, and Luo Jingsheng with a cannibalistic look, and then looked helplessly at Yi Xiaoyu, who was sitting on one side. This reaction was naturally due to the other three people's thoughts, but the three of them seemed to have been used to this kind of differential treatment of top students, and they had no reaction at this time. Xiaoyu. The seventh elder said, how could you do this? The sect has worked hard to train you, how could you do the opposite? Yi Xiaoyu said, the sect also taught me that those who want to achieve great things must adhere to trust and righteousness, but why did the seventh elder break the rules and forcefully save senior brother Luo just now? Having said this, Yi Xiaoyu glanced apologetically at Luo Jingsheng, who was beaten to a state of disgrace and seriously injured by Li Qingyun. Luo Jingsheng hurriedly nodded in response, with a sense of flattery. Judging from this gesture, what he said about Yi Xiaoyu when he was competing with Li Qingyun was obviously bragging to give himself a seat. It can be seen from this that Yi Xiaoyu's aloof status in the soul-calling sect. The seventh elder did not dare to reprimand, and Luo Jingsheng did not dare to speak loudly in front of her. The seventh elder sighed, I will tell the great elder about this. And I also caused heavy losses to the sect during this trip to Xuanhuan city. When the time comes, I will ask the great elder to let me be punished with you. Yi Xiaoyu said, I will punish you if you want. It's just the seventh elder. Xiaoyu will not think that he is wrong because of the punishment. But the seventh elder must not forget that Xiaoyu acts according to the Taoist heart. This is what the elders have entrusted to Xiaoyu. Yu is trying the key to victory in the Xuanhuan Hall. If you punish Xiaoyu and make Xiaoyu's heart unstable, he will fail in the trial. Elders, please don't blame me. You. The seventh elder wanted to be angry, but in the end he had no choice but to face this sharp-tongued and most talented disciple of the soul-capturing sect. Chapter 30, Spirit Control Room. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The competition between the two sects in Xuanhuan City ended, causing a huge commotion in Xuanhuan City, but Li Qingyun and his 4 companions who caused the commotion had already escaped from Xuanhuan City and returned to Daqing Mountain, Qingshan Sect. Host qualifications: Cultivation value, 300, peak of the middle stage of foundation building, spiritual roots, 6 spiritual roots, foundation building, upper grade foundation building, art, Qingyun Ju yellow level lower grade, genius points, 1500. Host has obtained the spirit control room, please set it up as soon as possible. The system's voice was still so cold. Li Qingyun asked, what is the function of the spirit control room? When the host was fighting with Luo Jingsheng, the idea of improving the control of spiritual power flashed through his mind. This system understands the people's feelings and decides to give the host a building that can improve the control of spiritual power. Li Qingyun said, there is such a building, why have I never heard of it? Spirit control rooms are generally built by sects at the level of Daotong. It is normal that the host has not heard of it. Daotong level, Li Qingyun said, system, why are you so gentle today? System. Please arrange the spirit control room as soon as possible. Well, it's cold again. Li Qingyun got up and went to the back mountain. He walked to the retreat area near the cave area, selected half of the retreat area, and said, that's all, transform it. System. Please note that the current selected area is too large. The host's current spiritual stone accumulation is not enough to support the opening of the spirit control room, Li Qingyun said, then transform the entire retreat area into a spirit control room. System. Hurry up, the 30 mu of spiritual fields of this sect master will be harvested soon, so this little money is not a big deal. System. Preparing for transformation. Transforming. Li Qingyun looked at the retreat area with wide eyes. Unlike the strange phenomenon of the sky and earth changing color during the previous transformation, this transformation was silent. This time, Li Qingyun only felt that the secret rooms in the retreat area twisted for a while, and then the transformation was completed. System. Transformation completed, the current grade of the spirit control room is yellow grade lower. Li Qingyun, well, nearly 300 mu of retreat was transformed, and it seemed that he had taken a big advantage again. Reminder, the retreat area is currently fully opened, consuming 10,000 lower-grade spirit stones every day. Li Qingyun said with a dark face, I knew it, it's not that simple. Reminder, due to the excellent performance of the host in this stage, the spirit control room is given a 1-month trial period. Li Qingyun, can you finish your words at once? Li Qingyun called Pingyun, Sunliang and Yang Haiaoxue, and proudly said to the 3 of them, our sect has always had a building that can train your spiritual power control ability. Today it is officially open to everyone. As soon as Li Qingyun finished speaking, Yang Haiaoxue asked in surprise, spirit control room? Huh? Do you know this thing? Li Qingyun asked. Yes. Yang Haiaoxue replied, and then asked, is your Qingshan Sect a certain ancient Taoist sect? There are still such buildings left. Ahem, keep it secret. Li Qingyun naturally would not tell her that this is a building built for him by the system. Can you use it? Li Qingyun asked. Yes. Li Qingyun was overjoyed, okay, then you take the 3 of us in and teach me how to use it. You can't use it? Yang Haiaoxue was helpless. Yeah, isn't it strange that you can't use it? Li Qingyun admitted it openly, if you can't do it, you can't do it. If you don't know, you don't know. Honesty and not being pretentious are Li Qingyun's excellent qualities. It's not shameful to be honest,
but pretending to know is the most embarrassing. Yang Haoshue led the three people into the spirit control room and said, "The spirit control room is a special formation building that controls the state of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It can aggregate the spiritual energy into various states for practitioners to comprehend. This way of changing the state of spiritual energy isolates the practice state in the spirit control room from the outside world, giving the perceiver a new understanding, which is extremely helpful to enhance the ability to control spiritual energy. Like this giant spirit control room of the lower grade of the yellow level, it should be able to improve the ability to control spiritual power to the realm of spiritual power into micro." "Wow, so powerful!" Pinyin shouted. He had read a lot of cultivation books during this period and knew that the ability of cultivators to control spiritual energy was divided into 4 levels: spiritual power externalization, spiritual power transformation, spiritual power subtlety, and spiritual power transformation into the way. Today, I didn't expect that this control room could help people improve their spiritual power control to the 3rd level. Spiritual power subtlety. It made him extremely excited. "That's right, your master has taken out a good thing." Yang Haoshue said to Li Qingyun, "This control room is exactly what I need recently. I am about to break through the golden elixir. With the control room, I am more confident. I may need to retreat here to break through in the near future." "Okay." Li Qingyun said, "Be at ease to break through. After Yang Haoshue breaks through the golden elixir, with her combat power, she will definitely be a great help to me. You can directly enter the secret room in the control room. The secret room will provide different solutions according to each person's spiritual power realm." After saying this, Yang Haoshue walked into the spirit control room by himself. Seeing this, Li Qingyun also chose a secret room to enter, and Pinyin and Sun Liang followed closely, each choosing a secret room to enter. As soon as he stepped into the spirit control room, Li Qingyun felt that the spiritual energy of the entire room wrapped him up and stuck to his body, making a subtle chirping sound. The next moment, a giant green hand suddenly appeared in front of Li Qingyun and slapped him. This giant hand was extremely fast, covered a wide range, and gave Li Qingyun a restrictive pressure, making him unable to avoid it. Bang! The giant hand slapped down. From the appearance of the giant green hand to the slap, there was only a moment. Li Qingyun only had time to subconsciously protect his head with his hands, and he had no time to use other actions. He screamed, but the next moment, the giant hand disappeared. Li Qingyun wiped the cold sweat on his head with his sleeve. If this giant green hand was real, he would have died just now. The moves represented by this giant green hand far exceeded all his current moves in terms of power, speed, and effect. Suddenly, Li Qingyun seemed to think of something and screamed, "Is this my secret method blue stone?" Yes. The control room used his control of the next realm's spiritual power into shape to evolve the power of his main practice method blue stone, and showed it to Li Qingyun in the form of an illusion, allowing Li Qingyun to deeply understand the mystery of spiritual power into shape. It turns out that the key to advancing blue stone from minor success to great success lies in the realm reaching spiritual power into nature. Previously, when Li Qingyun was repairing the flaws of Qingshan in the system, he advanced the realm of Qingshan and the secret method blue stone from entry to minor success, and used the blue stone of minor success to kill Zhang Tiankue that day. Today, seeing the power of the great success blue stone again, he was naturally more excited, so he directly sat cross-legged in the control room to practice, and this practice lasted for 3 days.